Yo, what's going on YouTube? Dylan's back with another update on Crafty Customs build channel. I don't know what else to call it. Anyways, so in today's video, little build update, little progress I got going on here on the 450 quad. Pretty much have most of it all done, and all I have left is get the shifter back on, because we had it too low, so it couldn't go into first gear, so I had to take it off and clean it up because I had it pretty much JB welded on. You can see how bad the shaft is though. It's really chewed up, so I pretty much just have JB welded and a lot of red Loctite holding the shifter on. So until that fails, we do have the replacement shifter shaft, but until that fails, we're not gonna go about tearing the whole motor out and splitting the case apart. Just do that. Right now, we're just pretty much trying to get it riding, at least get a couple decent rides in on it, and then worry about taking the motor out and doing all the seals and stuff on that to make it good. But for now, it's mostly sealed. There's only a couple leaks I've noticed. Like, there's one either coming from the case right here, or it was coming from the starter O-ring, which we have a new starter coming because the starter got stuck engaged. So anytime you'd go to start it, it'd start, and then the starter would just keep going, and it's like, well, I guess we need a new starter. Because that's what happens when they go bad. They just get stuck open, or it doesn't start at all. Luckily, it starts up pretty much perfectly every time. I mean, I haven't done many cold start tunes on it yet. It still needs a little bit of the pilot screw adjustment dialed in. I gotta get that. Oh, I saw a little oil drip. There's a little oil leak coming from underneath here too. I think it might be coming from like the what would you call that, like the seam on the cases. There's probably like RTV or a gasket or something in there that's probably just failed. I did see there was like some JB weld or like Flex Seal or who knows what it was on the outside, pretty much where the oil was dripping into, so I'm assuming that's where it was. So that's not too bad. I mean, it's only a little drip here and there. You just gotta keep an eye on the oil, I guess. So that's another thing we'll have to do. Otherwise, I don't see any other seals like the sprocket output shaft. That seal seems good. Most of the other like head gaskets and all those seals seem pretty good. Oil filters, they're still sealed. Clutch cylinder, that I don't think that's leaking because I opened that up and changed the fluid out and it still had fluid. It was just really dirty. So I got fresh, what was that called? MXR, what was it? Tiger blood or something? But yeah, it's like just mineral oil basically. So it can, if a seal were to fail on one of these, then it could go in the engine and it wouldn't harm it like brake fluid would. So that's why they use mineral oil. I don't know if there's any different like boiling points or whatever, and I don't think that really matters on this because it's a clutch. And I don't know how that stuff works, so I'm just gonna pretty much put it in and call it good. If it leaks, we'll know. Clutch will start going out. I don't know. Oil will start getting really contaminated. But for now, everything else is good. Pretty much just gonna do the carrier bearing today, and then I guess figure out the plastics. Still gotta do that. I got the exhausts mounted. That's solid. Yeah, I just have plastics pretty much. Still gotta clean up the rear fender, fairing, or whatever you want to call them, the rear plastics. Still gotta fix this so the light stays up, and hopefully I got a bunch of pins, but I don't think they're gonna be the right size or something, because I already tried up here, but I think those are supposed to be like really shallow screws, and it looks like pins are supposed to go in here, but the pins we got were a lot bigger, and it said it was for this, but it was kind of like one of those generic fits everything type deals. Fits everything but doesn't actually fit everything. They just advertise it like that so people like me buy it, and here we are with a bunch of pins and we don't know what to do with them. That happens pretty much every time I try to get like plastic clips or something. It's always the wrong thing. Even though it's advertised as the right thing, it's not the right thing. So I don't know what to do about that. We'll have to either find different pins or get some screws. Hopefully. I don't know. We'll see. Right now we're just working on the carrier bearing and then waiting on the starter to come and the starter solenoid. And once that's here, I'll address this situation. We just have the battery held in with a strap right now, and then that's just pretty much hanging there. I just have a piece of paper because I thought that was like grounding out or something on the frame, so I put that there just in case, but no, it's just a starter. So once that's in here, I'll make a battery box, a nice mount for the solenoid. And then that should be good to go. Get the plastics on and button them up, and quad's pretty much done, other than the like little oil leak, and shifter's pretty shitty, but handlebars, that's the other thing. I gotta straighten the handlebars out, 'cause they're still pretty bent. I mean, the handlebars themselves are straight, but the stem, the steering shaft, she's pretty bent. So we're gonna have to straighten that out, and then hopefully it's a little bit better. I mean, worst case scenario, we just buy a new one, but I might be able to get straight, we'll see. But for now, I'm gonna start working on this. I already got the wheel off. Yeah. So I got the right socket for the axle nut. Then I'm gonna have to loosen up all that. I'm not sure exactly how that comes off. I'm assuming you just loosen it like a normal nut, but it'll probably be reverse threaded or something. But it's already pretty chewed up, so I'm not too worried about it. Hopefully it's been off before, so it's not like super corroded on, but I've been soaking it in PB, so we'll see if that does the trick. And then brake caliper needs to come off. Your carrier bearing holding, I don't know what you call them, the carrier lock nuts, they need to come off. And then the sprocket, I have no idea how that comes off, but shouldn't need to take the sprocket off actually. I might have to take the chain off, but can't do that until I loosen that up. So here's what we're doing. Axle nut comes off. This lock nut thing, whatever you want to call that thing, that needs to come off. Then your brake needs to come off. Set the caliper aside. Take your nuts off, loosen them. Loosen the chain, pop that off, and then hopefully the whole thing should just slide out. I think this thing should just pop off once we get the nut off. And then yeah, it should be pretty straightforward from there. Just pull that out, put the new one in, reverse process, put it back together. So I don't know if I'm gonna film it, but right now that's what I'm doing. And I'll catch back up to you guys in a little. And we're back. We got her all out. Everything seemed to look alright. I mean, there wasn't too much like super bad damage on this. It wasn't too hard to get off. It did split on me, so we're gonna have to get a new one of them. Hopefully, I don't know, it's not too expensive. I couldn't really do anything. I mean, look at how much material was left on that nut. I mean, it was pretty much bound to happen. But yeah, she broke on me. I didn't realize there was like a clip. I don't know where it went, but there's like this little circle clip that went on the end of it to pretty much just lock the axle in. And I didn't realize that, so that's probably what was making it so hard to get off. But I got her off. I just had to spread that out a little bit. It was already broke. I didn't break it from trying to spread it. It was already broke. So I just put the punch in there and spread her apart a little bit, and she came right off. I had to get the big ass lock ring that held that like brake caliper mount backing plate type thing, held that on, and other than that, everything else came off pretty smooth. I am probably gonna have to get some new nuts for these, or screws, or bolts. Yeah, it's a bolt one. But gonna have to get a new one of them. They're all rounded off. They weren't on very tight, luckily, so I didn't have too much trouble getting them off. But I'm just gonna clean it up, and probably gonna put some anti-seize in there or something. Make it so it can adjust, but I don't know if I want to put anti-seize or just a little bit of grease. I think that'll be fine, because you probably don't want it too slicked up in there, just to make sure your chain doesn't come loose. You just want a little bit so you can adjust it without too much hassle, I guess. It should be really smooth if I just put a little thin layer of grease on there, just give it a little sliction. But yeah, it's out. Now I'm just gonna clean it all up, put it back together. Hopefully everything goes back together as smooth as it came off. But hopefully, I don't know. We'll probably have to get a new one of these, sadly, because I don't think you want a big crack at the end right here. I don't know. I mean, it goes onto the axle. It's not like it's a seal or anything, so might be able to use it, at least for now. But that's the situation. I'll catch back up to you guys when I'm done.